Jaya Ratha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Bhalava Giri Bharadhari. Gopi Jana Bhalava Giri Bharadhari. Jashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Ratha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad Hisavang Vaisaisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantara Shimam Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonan, Chapter 66, Paundraka, the false Vasudev. Text number 20 and 21. Tvajajisye vidhanam me yat tvaya mrisadritam brajami sharanam tedya jadi nechami samyugam. Tvajajisye vidhanam me yat tvaya mrisadritam brajami sharanam tedya jadi nechami samyugam. Tvajajisye vidhanam me yat tvaya mrisadritam brajami sharanam tedya jadi nechami samyugam. Please chant. त्वया जिष्ये विधानं मे यत्त्वया ज्ञामिर्षादृतम् व्रजामि शरणं तेद्य यदि नेच्छामि संयुगम् त्वया जिष्ये विधानं मे यत्त्वया ज्ञामिर्षादृतम् व्रजामि शरणं तेद्य यदि नेच्छामि संयुगम् त्वया शिष्ये. I will make you renounce abhidhanam, designation, me, my, yat, which, tvaya, by you, agya, or fool, mrisha, falsely, dhritam, assume, brajami, I will go, sharanam, to the shelter, te, your, adya, today, jadi, if, na ichami, I do not desire, samyugam, battle. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O fool, now I should make you renounce my name, which you falsely assume, and I will certainly take shelter of you if I do not wish to fight you. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes as follows, quote, Now, Pandraka, I should force you to give up this false representation. You wanted me to surrender unto you? Now this is your opportunity. We shall fight. And if I am defeated and you become victorious, I shall certainly surrender unto you. End of quote. Text number 21. Iti shiptva sitairvanair virati kritya pandrakam sirobrischa ratangena brajenendro yatagire. Translation. Having thus derided Paundraka, Lord Krishna destroyed his chariot with sharp arrows. The Lord then cut off his head with the Sudarshan disc, just as Lord Indra loops off a mountain peak with his thunderbolt weapon. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapada Swami. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. So no time is wasted in this particular pastime. Sometimes we hear narrations in which Krishna battled a demon or a particular miscreant, and the battle goes with elaborate descriptions and for a long time, sometimes stretch for a very, very long period of time, these battles between Krishna and a particular personality who is in an, as an enemy of Krishna. sometimes demons like that. But in this case, is as soon as Krishna is facing this Paundraka person, then he cuts his head. No, there was no much exchange of in the battle. It's immediately the first thing that is described here is as soon as they Krishna chastising him. Now here goes. Here's the weapon that you were wanted to be released. Well, here's the release. Soup, cut her head. Finish. So the the pastime is going to continue. It's actually very fascinating how the pastime evolve in terms of the destination that Pandraka achieved by being killed by Krishna personally. We're going to leave that as we continue here in the pastime, but it's very, very wonderful and fascinating, and also very, very much telling because in one sense, it's the power of meditation on Krishna, even if it's done on an animical way, it still have, a, 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 um, a result of elevation, even if it's done in an animical way. What to speak if you perform devotional service or if you meditate on Krishna, you think of Krishna in a positive way, which is what Srila Rupa Goswami encourages or instructs us to do. That we perform devotional service positively towards Krishna. When we do that, then we obtain the highest goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. But for people that are envious, living entities, conditioned souls that are envious of Krishna, if they have the fortune to actually being able to focus and meditate upon Krishna, they can achieve up to the levels of liberation. And in this case, Pandraka obtained something beyond the liberation that most of the demons obtain. Pandraka obtained a type of liberation that is in the Vaikuntha planets. He actually obtained the form of an eternal associate of the Lord with the same form of the Lord. There are 5 types of liberations. One of them is the impersonal liberation. And that type of liberation usually is with fortunate demons that are killed by Krishna, they obtain. They merge into the effulgence of the Lord. But there is other 4 types of liberation that devotees of the Lord obtain. One of them is called Sarupya Mukti, which is you obtain the same form of the Lord. So sometimes we see in the depiction of the Vishnu Dutas. The Vishnu Dutas are the representatives of Lord Vishnu in the case when they come and rescue or picked up a qualified soul to take them back to Vaikuntha, they appear. And in the case, one of the most famous descriptions of the Vishnu Dutas appearing to claim a soul was in the pastime of Ajamil. So the Vishnu Dutas appear, and the Vishnu Dutas appear with all the characteristics, the same form of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. 4-arm, yellow garment, ornaments, but they differ from the Lord, although they have the same form, is they don't have very specific symbols that are exclusively for Lord Vishnu. And then we have heard that Pondraka was having some of those symbols, but fake symbols. They were counterfeit. That's right. That's how you say counterfeit, no? Counterfeit symbols. So he have a fake Kostubaju, he have a fake tuft of Srivatsa hair. Apparently, it's one of the acharyas say that he borrows some hair from someone. It's like you glue some hair. It's a patch of white, beautiful hair that the Lord has in his chest. That is where the goddess of fortune resides. So Pundraka have some fake fur there, you know. And he have a fake sadanga bow. He have a fake ornaments and fake conch shell, this lotus, So um, all this counterfeit. So these are exclusively for the Lord, but the form is there. It's one type of liberation. So um, Pondraka obtained this Sarupya Mukti. The others is Shastri, which is you have the same opulence of the Lord. Salokya, you have the same, you obtain the same place, the same planet where the Lord resides. And the last one is Sarupya, is Shasti, Salokya, and opulence, form, and the associations, the association of the Lord. I can't remember the Sanskrit term for that. You become an associate of the Lord. So Paundraka, this pathological, because actually it's understood here by the narration that it is a pathological, delusional, and envious personality. It's pathological because when it's pathological, there's an element of the delusion becomes more like is so intense that although it's so apparent that is a delusion, the person fully believes the um, the identity that he's trying to have. He fully believes that he is Vasudev Supreme. So much that he goes as far as challenging Krishna. I mean, you may say that some con artists, we have that type of element. That there are people that are cheaters. They're just, a con artist. A con artist, they make sure that they're not exposed. It's it's very strategic and planned. So you don't expose yourself to situations in which your disguise can be discovered. So obviously, you're not going to approach the person that you're trying to impersonate, you know, like that. So it becomes obvious. So it's actually the delusion was so crazy, so pathological, that he goes and challenges Krishna. And when he does that, for, sane people, it's just laughable. Well, the first reaction when Paundraka made his big, big, big claim, was an explosion of laughter in the assembly of the Yadus. They just laugh. They haven't seen the fellow, they just heard the nonsense and they just laugh. And then when Krishna first met the fellow, it is described here that when they went face to face and Krishna saw the impersonation, he just laughed. The first thing that Krishna did was like, it's like, how, you know, it's just laughable. So that's from the perspective of seeing the delusion, you know, it becomes a laughable matter. But from the perspective of the person or the pathological delusional person, they don't see that, which is the part that is considered pathological is when there's something in the mind that doesn't allow you to see reality. So it's madness. The psychology of this delusion, this particular delusion is called the grandiose delusion. It's a delusion of thinking that you're something so special and that is grandiose like that. The word said it itself. There's different types of delusions, and one of them is this one, the grandiose delusion. And for this grandiose delusion, one of the part of psychology that allows it to actually happens, actually any type of delusion, is you have a very selective type of processing. The only thing that you're able to process when you face with reality, when you're acting in the world, you're able to exclusively being able to take and process things that supports your delusion. And when you're confronted with things that are contrary to what you believe or for your delusion, then it doesn't process. It just doesn't, it won't process. It won't penetrate. That's part of the psychology of delusion. It's very, very, um, is very targeted, and you have this very exclusive type of, um, you know, how you say, uh, uh, your mind will be very targeted to only the things that will support your delusion, like that. So therefore, it's a type of sickness. And sometimes we see they have these reality shows that have talent shows, and sometimes you see part of the part of the appeal of the one of the attract that people it's almost like the comical thing is when you have one of these delusional characters trying to thinking that they have a particular talent, and when you are exposed to the world, it becomes it's very clear that you have no talent, but it becomes a very shocking thing for the delusional person to be faced with the laughter of others. And in general, the way it becomes processed is, oh, they're just envious of me. You can process it. So this this character of Pondraka is um, is is a very, very strong example of these two things: delusion, but also envy. And in one sense, it is explained. I mean, the whole The whole force that propounds that delusion is envy. That's what is explained. Envy. That's what is explained in the scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the original cause of this is this combination of Icha and Dvesha. It's a desire to have something that Krishna has. The desire of of being the center and the controller. And the other one is, so you have Icha, is that desire. And Dvesha means envy, and sometimes it's translated also as hatred. Like, I envy or I hate Krishna because he is in that position. So that's the original cause of the living entity to fall into material existence. So, I mean, one of my spiritual masters giving a class on this particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita was explaining that just by having one of these bodies, by having this, it is a symptom that we have ingrained in the most deep part of our consciousness this hatred and envy of Krishna. The reason we're here is because we desire Krishna's position originally. And because that's there, then it becomes quite a struggle to fully surrender to Krishna. Even as devotees, we have to struggle with that. We have to struggle with try to become free from this envy and this hatred towards Krishna. Otherwise, it will be so easy to surrender to Krishna. So, so because that is so ingrained in the consciousness of all conditioned souls, is something that we have to be very much careful and aware. It's there. It's there. And we can pray to Krishna that just in the same way that, he's able to cut the head of this, the cause of all this delusion, just as he immediately took care of Pondraka, he can cut the head of this enviousness that we may have towards Krishna. And this enviousness is the cause of the delusion of I am, and this false ego expands into I am and this is mine, and controller. Ishwaraham aham bogi. I'm a controller, I'm an enjoyer. That's just is there. Is something that is it have to be present. Is explained. It have to be present as long as we're conditioned, and that's what we need to purify ourselves from. So these pastimes are very, very instructive. That's what Krishna so kindly he designs and he performed these pastimes to help us see these type of things. How far these delusions can take us. Especially when we have a position of responsibility, it becomes a big, big issue. Because um, as Prabhupada, you know, uh, ingested a purpose, say that those who lead others into delusion, they're the worst of the worst. They're the greatest fools. The greatest fools. So, so especially if we have position of responsibilities, especially if others are looking up to us, then we have to be watchful of these different manifestation of delusions that we may have, and be that's why it's so important to be connected to um, these three elements that will always check our propensities to be delusion, which is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. These three elements. So Prabhupada encourages to serve, well, not only Prabhupada, but Prabhupada instructs, but it's the instructions from Krishna himself to surrender and serve the spiritual master, to associate with devotees, and to study the scriptures, systematically study the scriptures. So then we can be armed to be able uh, to be to have the capacity of be self-aware on the manifestations of different delusions that will naturally appear just from the condition that we have in this material world that expands from our desire to take Krishna's position. So we may consider ourselves, yeah, I have a little pundraka in myself. You know, there's a little pundraka there. And that pundraka can be of different sizes, you know, and we come into Krishna with the prayer, you please take care of this pundraka. Just like um, um, Satyavrata Muni prays to Lord Damodar that um, just in the same way that you free the sons of Kuvera, Managriva, and Nala Kuvera, and in your form as a baby, you deliver them from these three forms, and they give them liberation and gave them your own prema bhakti. In that same way, you please give me that prema bhakti. So, in the same way that we may be um, um, influenced by these different ideas of myself, of a different sense of importance, a different sense of uh, what's the word that I should have something, entitlement, you know, this what I deserve. All these different things that have to do with an idea of me and who I am and how people should know about me and my abilities and all these type of things. All these different ideas have to be, um, with the mercy of Krishna, being eliminated. And we can actually accept our constitution and our identity as Gopi Bhartar Kamar Padalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. I am just the insignificant servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis, of Vrindavan, of the servants of the gopis of Vrindavan. So I didn't have a great deal to time to prepare, but we can stop here. And if you have any questions, yes, Karina, Bhaktin Karina, can you pass the microphone to her?
Thank you for the lecture, Subal Prabhu. I wanted to ask you, said to not fall in an illusion, we need to rely on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras. What's the difference between Guru and Sadhu?
Oh, um, what is the difference between guru and sadhu? Yes, and obviously guru is sadhu, but it becomes a specific because guru is very much connected to specifically instruct you according to your nature and according to the guru give you these two things according to your nature. It give is called swadharma. Prabhupada explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. Guru give our swadharma. Swadharma means what is my duties, both material and spiritual. So it's very specific to you. The guru, either your shiksha or your diksha guru, will understand what is our, they understand our nature. And according to that, then you give in particular instruction. Sadhus, guru is sadhu too, but guru is specific to each one of us. The instructions that your guru will give, suppose we have the same spiritual master, suppose. That same spiritual master will give a particular set of instructions to you that not necessarily will be the same instructions to me. In the association of sadhus, though, then is association in which we have similar minded people that are performing the duties of the swadharma that is given by their instructing or their initiated spiritual master. So we all in a society of practitioners, devotees, sadhakas and devotees, people who are performing devotional service. So in that association, then we gain the strength of that association with like-minded people. And then we also can exchange, we can have the arrangements of being able to network. And when you network, sometimes we can exchange tips or we can exchange, ideas or these type of things. So the association of devotees is very important. And also, when it comes to sadhus, is also the body of instructions of all the great devotees of the Lord throughout history. So that's also sadhu sangha. Sadhus have instructions that applies, to all. But when it comes to guru, it's very specific. The guru will be giving you very specific things according to your personal nature. That much I can understand. I'm sure there's more, but that's okay.
Thank you. But one more little question. So Guru, as I know, the Guru has so many um, students, how to say,
Disciples.
disciples. Yes, and how, because I feel like he would not know me so well about my nature. He's so busy. How would he give me instruction according to my nature?
Yeah, it's quite something. Is the service of being a spiritual master is quite powerful. It's explained that Krishna is within your heart, so he knows everything, everything. Like Krishna Archana was mentioned yesterday, past, present, and future. He's able to, oh, what's not, I think it was maybe, yeah, you were mentioned yesterday. Past, present, and future. They can see that. Krishna can see that because he's within your heart. So, um, so Krishna is called within the heart. Another name of Krishna within the heart is Chaita Guru, the Guru within your heart. Now, for that advanced devotee who takes the position of being a spiritual master, then the position of the spiritual master is to become the via media by which Krishna from within the heart will, through the Guru, give you that instruction. So it's a very close connection of the spiritual master as the external manifestation of the Chaita Guru, Krishna from within the heart. It's like you have, the transmitter and the receiver, right? So when you turn the receiver, then the transmission comes. So when the spiritual master is bona fide, then then that transparent via media takes place. So the spiritual master, because he is representing Krishna from within your heart, he knows you perfectly. It's not depending on personal association. It's not depending on circumstances. It's not depending on any of that. The spiritual master knows your heart. So the combination of a faithful disciple and a bona fide spiritual master creates that perfect arrangement that Krishna designed for all of us. Then, the instructions that we receive from the spiritual master is always perfect. And if we have faith on that, then we're receiving exactly what Krishna from within the heart is dictating. Even if we don't understand it, if you have faith, then that takes place. So it's a very beautiful arrangement. It's a very wonderful arrangement by Krishna. Very kind. And of course, then you can be most grateful from this wonderful advanced devotee who takes that service on behalf of Krishna to help you receive that message. So it's very unique. It's necessary and important.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
You you okay?
This idea of, having a deep envy within of Krishna's position. So, and then it playing itself out very graphically in the case of King Pondraka. There's also, like on a smaller scale, that this sort of thing happens, that persons sort of want to topple somebody in a position that they see themselves as being a better fit for, or just because it's part of the enviousness in the heart. So
Uh, I mean, it's wonderful reading Krishna's, smooth leveling of the ground, so to speak, with King Pundraka. But it can be a much more messy process in material functioning or even in a spiritual sangha if that sort of thing rears its head. Um, so I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, in one sense, we just listening to the end tale of that whole saga, you know, because the fact is that Pundraka has been already a king, has been quite influential, has a whole other kingdom following him. You have other friends and other associates, have created this whole persona that a lot of people bought to it. I mean, we're gonna hear there's a whole kingdom, the kingdom of Kashi, that is also, you know, I mean, there's going to be consequences for this deriding or even, attaching yourself to a whole thing that is deriding and being offensive to the personality of God. And the result is that the whole kingdom of Kashi is going to be burned to ashes because because they were connected to these delusional, grandiose elements that were so offensive to Krishna. So, you know, the damage that was caused during a particular period of time now is facing its consequences. Krishna is taking care of that. So, same thing. At the end, all these different delusions, if it's depending on if it's a devotee, Krishna will expose them. But if these devotees, whoever is delusion, is causing also the delusion or is causing harm to a group of people, then there's going to be some consequences. Um, there's going to be consequences for the person who gets exposed, that their whole delusion is going to be flattened, and there's going to be certain amount of suffering that is going to be for for those who were attached to that and follow. So there's always consequences. So yeah, it's something that we have to be very watchful because we have to be introspective and be ready to to be prepared that when Krishna is exposing our flaws, our personal flaws, we should be ready to 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 accept and to change and to try to correct, to make the changes necessary. I think that's a very important instruction. If you insist, then what can you do? Krishna have to cut your head, you know, especially if you're causing that type of harm. So sometimes we see it with uh, with devotees that have this type of delusions. Sometimes, as they're exposed, they're eliminated. Krishna just send them away. So it comes. You can't fake it in front of Krishna for a long time. It will be exposed, and historically it's like that. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Grantarashimam Bhagavatam Ki Jai.